Hello, hello, hello. We're back in my living room. It's been, what's it been? 3 weeks since I've done one of these videos from home. I've been away in Norway the week before last, and then obviously last week's video was a video of the actual holiday. So here we are. And today's topic, well, first of all, I'm Ketan. I call myself that day-to-day guy. And I always explain this in every video, but it just basically means I'm just a regular guy making his way in the world and sharing some of my experiences along the way. And I want to emphasize that these are just my experiences. Whatever I share on my channel is not necessarily the truth, so to speak. It's my truth, but I understand and respect that everybody else has an opinion and people may feel different on certain matters. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're back again after watching previous videos, thank you for supporting. And today's topic is being at peace with being on your own. And this is something that has been in my mind during recent times. And I think I think I'm finally at a point where I am genuinely at peace with being on my own. I've lived on my own for donkey's years. And obviously, we had never been married, never had kids. The longest relationship I've had is maybe, other than a 4-year one at 18 to 22, I'm 47 now. The longest relationship I've had is 7-8 months. So make of that what you will. But nevertheless, we all want to settle down and, be with somebody, etc., etc. That's all great. And I remember there was a time in my life where there was a big focus, and I was really kind of like, I want this to happen, la-di-da, la-di-da, to the point where I'd always think to myself, this is the missing puzzle to my jigsaw, because my work life is great, my family life is great, I've got great friends, my material possessions are more than adequate, so it's kind of like my health is great, so it's just kind of like tick, 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 and then And now I feel not very different in the sense that it would be great to be with somebody. But the whole point of this video is, if like me, you are, let's face it, a middle-aged person, be it a man or woman, on your own, we must stop romanticizing and putting on a pedestal this life that we paint in our head of what it would be like to be in a relationship, etc., etc. Because now more so than ever, I am so fully aware that everything comes with benefits and drawbacks. So I know that my life right now, I come home to an empty house. It's great because nobody tells me what to do. I can just come home, and if I don't want to do anything, if I don't want to do any chores, I don't. If there's stuff to do around the house, I do it when I want to do it. Obviously, I fulfill my responsibilities with regards to maintenance, etc., etc. However, it's all done on my terms. And I kind of like that. And I know that if I was with somebody, a lot of those freedoms will be taken away, but then other positives will come. So when I say I come home to an empty house, I'd come home to a house where maybe there might be somebody who's happy to see me. You'd hope there would be someone who's happy to see me. But the point I'm making is, I'm at a point where I know that if I'm alone for the next however many number of years, even for the rest of my life, I'm quite cool with that, because I know that there's nothing missing in my life, in the sense that I've got friends, I've always got someone to do things with, I've got family, and I like my solitude. So whilst I would like to be with somebody, I no longer think that is the missing part of my jigsaw. The point is, I'm whole as I am. I'm perfectly capable of feeding myself. I'm capable of, entertaining myself. I'm capable of being at peace, without having somebody from the outside, being happy, for instance. So anyone else that comes into my life now would be a bonus, rather than the missing component, so to speak. Yeah, in Hollywood dramas, it's always like, one of my favourite movies, Jerry Maguire, you complete me, that line. And as romantic as it is, and as cute as the gesture may be, it's not reality of life. We don't need anyone to complete us. We're whole as we are. So the minute you kind of come to peace with that and come to terms with that, I think is when the shift starts to happen in your mind. Because we're always like when you get, especially when you get to my age, and this is more focused towards people who are sort of getting a bit older. Society has all these kind of expectations of us to, go to university, get a job, buy a house, get married. Some of them are interchangeable in order, but generally speaking, that's what we have to do. And I remember in a relationship a few years ago, I thought, I have to be with somebody before I buy a house, etc., etc. And here we are in my house, and I did it on my own. I'm a strong, independent man. But yeah, the point is, like, I'm happy, and I'm super happy, I'm super content. I don't feel like, and I know that if I go out with somebody, that as much good as they'll bring into my life, they'll also bring, not intentionally, but the situation, relationships are such that there'll be challenges that I don't have now. And some of the challenges I have now, for example, sometimes I'm sitting at home on my own and it is a bit lonely. But also, you can also be with somebody and still be lonely if you're with the wrong person. So what I'm talking about, this kind of having a balanced view on every situation, isn't just about relationships. It's about everything. All the stuff that we romanticize and think that's missing in our life, the reality is that when we get it, our life isn't going to be fixed because of it. So start trying to take control of your life and control of your own happiness, rather than relying on someone else from the outside to. Obviously, people can contribute to it, because sometimes you're doing things in a relationship, you take care of somebody, that gives you a good, warm, fuzzy feeling inside, but it also makes that person feel appreciated, and that's all good and well. But fundamentally, when you're not in a relationship, friends fulfill that role, or family fulfill that role. And for me, family is a big thing. My brother's kids, for example, when I don't have kids of my own, so there's always, where there's something missing. Like when I go to my brother's house, and when I went around yesterday, his kids are like the closest that I'll have to having children. So I get my kind of fix from them, if you will. That whole kind of where a child loves an adult and they look up to you, etc., etc. I get that from them, especially my nephew. So. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's a little bit. I feel a bit not embarrassed about sharing stuff like this, but it's how can I put it? Like, it's a normal thing that we all go through. And I said it, and I'm gonna repeat myself again. Let's not, over romanticize what being in a relationship is like, and at the same time, I'm not saying don't have the desire to get into a relationship, because a relationship brings all sorts of other fulfilling things. It helps you grow. There's someone there to hold you accountable, and maybe question some of your judgments and so on and so forth, and kind of balance you out. But I now, for myself, I'm genuinely in a place where I'm kind of absolutely in the middle and at peace with whichever scenario should unfold. So, yeah. I kind of did waffle a bit there. I thought it was going to be like a 3-4 minute video, but here we are 10 minutes later. That is the nature of the way that I waffle and the way that I ramble. So, if you got this far, thank you for watching. Someone asked me today, why I do these YouTube video stuff, and I just said, I like talking and I like making videos, so this is a great match. I'm not doing this with the intent of becoming anything, or becoming a YouTuber or whatever, blah blah blah. But if you like what you see, if you like some of my content, one of the main reasons I do this is because I'd love to know that something that I've said has made a difference, positive difference to somebody's life. So, hit the like button. That's cheesy, so cheesy, but hit the like button if you like my content. Subscribe if you want to see more, because every week, and I've been doing this since February, and I thought to myself, after the first 3-4 weeks, I thought, I'm going to run out of things to say, but I don't know how many weeks on we are, but every Tuesday I've put out a video, so this is another one. Let's see how long we can continue this for, because I think to myself, now that I know that every week life is throwing challenges at me and throwing scenarios at me where I think to myself, okay, how am I handling this? And, how can I talk about it so that somebody else can maybe benefit from my experience? So, yeah. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll hopefully see you next time.